I believe this, and I'm going to say this now. I call the games for the Rams. If Skateboo was on the Rams last year, the Rams win the Super Bowl. They go into Philly and they beat Philly with Skateboo. That's what kind of football player this guy is, right?
Ever since capturing the nation's attention in the college football playoffs, Cam Skateboo's stock has absolutely skyrocketed.
Trailing by 2 possessions, Skateboo's going to try to throw it downfield, and it is caught! Skateboo. Goodness. Skateboo again sheds tacklers.
Skat may be tearing it up in the Meadowlands today, but his rise to the NFL has been nothing short of remarkable. He's been doubted at every single turn, but risen to the top at every single level, and now stands to be the NFL's best rookie running back of 2025. Now, where his story starts, it's a long way from the Big Apple. In fact, to understand what makes Cam Skateboo the player that he is today, you need to understand where he came from.
Chosen, he's just a junior out of Rio Linda, barely old enough to drive, but when it comes to racking up miles on the gridiron, there's no roadblock that can stand in his way.
Hello, my name is Cam Skateboo. I'm from the Rio Linda Knights, class of 2020. I appreciate CBS 13 for nominating me as Player of the Month. I thank my coaches, teammates, and family to getting me where I am. Please vote for me starting October 18th. Thank you. Go Knights.
Rio Linda, California. Not exactly the vibrant coastal city that you would associate with the Golden State. Instead, it was a rural suburb of Sacramento, and it's where Cam Skateboo first learned to love football.
Yeah, honestly, I was just in love with playing it. I won 5 championships back to back when I was younger. Damn. We went like 72-0. I didn't lose a game for 5 years.
72-0. Wow.
I didn't lose a game for probably 5-6 years.
Wow.
My first 2 years, I didn't really play much. I was 5 and 6 years old, and then from 7 to 11 years old, I didn't lose a game. We onside kicked every game. Every time my dad onside kicked the ball.
Who was the coach?
I rent my dad.
Oh, he was cold-blooded,
so
man.
He would have our kicker onside kick. I'd run down, hit the first guy that saw the ball. Our other guys would pick it up, and some games we'd win 70-0, and they would never even touch the football. So, my dad was a cold-blooded killer right there.
And that's the thing, this love for the game ran in his family. Not only was Cam's father his first coach, but his older brother Leonard set an example for him at Rio Linda High School, as the Knights head coach even explains it.
How early on did you see that Cam was maybe a difference maker while at Rio Linda?
Well, we actually saw it really early when he was a junior Knight. His older brother played for us, and he would come out to practice and stuff like that before he had to practice after we were done. And you could always see that there was something just different about him, the way he carried himself, the way that he did things, just the way his body moved, all that kind of stuff. He was always more advanced than the other kids around him. And then finally, when we got him here, you just saw that competitive nature and just the will to be great. All the hard work and stuff that he put in, it was always kind of a step above a little bit, and it was very fun to watch while he was here.
And when Cam finally got to follow in his brother's footsteps at Rio Linda High, the results were spectacular. He helped Rio Linda to his state championship in his junior season, pushing for over 3,500 yards and 42 touchdowns in the process.
Star running back Cameron Skateboo broke all kinds of records this year, becoming the Sac Joaquin all-time leading rusher. But it's the bond with team and town that means the most.
With the whole town being at the football game and being able to witness Rio Linda history has been a good thing, and good thing for this community.
But that's the thing. Despite all the success that Skateboo had in high school, he saw no interest from a Power 5 school. And that's the thing too. His tape made it undeniable. The kid is a dog.
All go in the air and get caught. All go in the air and get caught. Okay.
His only scholarship offer came from the nearby Sacramento State, an FCS school in the Big Sky Conference, where head coach Troy Taylor was absolutely enamored with the local kid.
Watched his tape. I knew instantly that he could play for me. He was a cult hero in Sacramento. I mean, people followed him. He was probably the favorite player, and his highlights are amazing.
None. So I say Sac State was my only scholarship. It was my only real scholarship, but William and Mary had texted my phone after my sophomore year. they texted, actually Brendan Marion, that now is at Sacramento State, texted my phone when he was at William & Mary and said, "You have an offer from us." No other comments, no other phone calls, nothing. Just a Twitter text message from him. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to take this serious. You know, he never reached out, nothing. And then Sac State offered, and they were the only one to ever pull the trigger and be real interested. So that was definitely my only, I guess, real offer.
It just so happens, too, that staying close to home worked as a charm for Cam. His first season was canceled due to COVID, but when he finally took the field for the Hornets, he rushed for over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns before doubling down with an incredible sophomore effort in 2022. Skateboo was named the Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year and an FCS All-American after collecting 1,878 all-purpose yards and 12 total touchdowns, making big plays all season long.
That's what Incarnate Word told us, right? Is he is going to stiff arm you. That's what they've told their guys on.
What a run into the end zone! Touchdown, Cam Skateboo. What else can he do?
For reference too, he averaged 7.5 yards per carry, the best in Sacramento State program history. And that's the thing too, it was clear that Cam Skateboo was capable of performing at a higher level and deserved to play in a Power 5 conference. When Troy Taylor, the man who had so strongly believed in him, took the head coaching vacancy at Stanford, it provided the push Cam needed to leave home and go try his luck elsewhere.
I didn't think he would ever leave as long as I was there, but you know, it happened, so I took the chance on me and figured out, like, is this the right decision for me? And I think it is.
On Thursday morning, Cameron Skateboo made it official by signing his national letter of intent.
Going to Arizona State is going to be fun, and I never thought I would be here, honestly.
It also helped too that the Sun Devils offensive coordinator Bo Baldwin had faced his new running back multiple times in his previous job at Cal Poly.
I didn't have much to have to talk about, you know, in that one. I'd seen it live and in person, and I just brought it to the table to our guys, you know, and I said, hey, who's the best player in our conference last year? And I know it's whatever, smaller conference, this and that, but if you can play, you can play.
Baldwin's words rang true as well, as Cam only had minor growing pains after taking the leap to the Big 12. After his first 100-yard rushing game against USC, Sun Devils head coach Kenny Dillingham praised Skateboo's progress.
For the guys, but I was super impressed by our offensive line and how Cam ran. He ran his heart out and ran with a passion, ran with a great pad level. He ran with better tracks. You know, he ran downhill instead of bouncing everything. You know, early in the season, he liked to jump cut a lot. And I think that's him adapting to this level, is he used to also be one of the best athletes on the field, one of the fastest guys, and he was used to just out-athleting, out-strengthening people. And I think this was the first game he really trusted his tracks, stayed tight on double teams, and you saw him be able to then run off double teams and keep a pad level, and it was really good to see his growth.
Skateboo finished his first year in Tempe with over 1,000 yards from scrimmage and 10 total touchdowns as part of rebuilding ASU's team. Certainly it was a respectable debut effort, but he would only go on to blow it out of the water in 2024. In week 2, he earned national recognition for his 262-yard rushing effort against Mississippi State, where he was utterly impossible to bring down. And truthfully, it proved as a precursor for a magical season at ASU as the Sun Devils dominated with a 9-3 record, made even sweeter by a 49-7 beatdown against U of A to close things out. Skateboo himself averaged 10.6 yards per carry on the game, leaving the Wildcat staff absolutely flustered.
And so that was disappointing. That being said, he does that to everyone they play. And so respect. The guy's a badass, man. You know what I mean?
Then in the Big 12 championship game against Iowa State, Skateboo put on an absolute show with over 200 total yards and 3 scores.
It ends early. Here is Skateboo, and this is exactly what he does. How did he stay on balance there? Look at him go! Skateboo! Skateboo. All two. There's Mr. Contact Balance again. Look at Skateboo go!
He was now garnering serious praise, finishing 5th in Heisman voting as college football's blue bloods were finally put on notice.
I think he's a really versatile player. I think when you first turn on Cam's tape, you're thinking you're just going to see Mike Allstat. You're just going to see this bruiser that's just running into the line of scrimmage and bouncing off of people. And then the more you watch him, you're like, man, this guy's got really good feet. This guy's got great contact balance. This guy, right when you think he's getting ready to run somebody over, he makes a miss. He uses a stiff arm. He's really good in the open field. He can run away from you. And then all of a sudden you're like, but wait a minute, this guy catches the ball really well out of the backfield. He's got, really good initial quickness after the catch to get vertical. And so he's a really versatile player. I was hoping he was going to be kind of a one-dimensional guy. When you just kind of watch Sports Center and different things, but all of a sudden you start looking at the cut up of him and the explosive plays and how they're happening. His versatility is probably the thing that stands out to me the most.
But the true marquee performance of his collegiate career came just a few weeks later against Texas, the only way he knows how to.
I looked down, took a deep breath, puked, took another deep breath, and then got back on the field and, played my game of football. So.
As crazy as it sounds too, after puking, Scat strung together one of the best fourth quarters by a running back that you will. And yes, the Sun Devils may have lost in heartbreaking fashion, but the entire world now knows Cam Skateboo's face and name because of that game.
When they're chanting his name and they're chanting my name, our last name is like that feeling is just insane. You get a little choked up because it's like, it's something that you don't even think of.
When it finally became time to declare for the NFL draft, though, Scat was not viewed as one of the top options at running back. Durability was the main concern, as Cam puts his body through a beating every single time he takes the field, while he also lacks the raw speed of many other top prospects. But as one AFC executive put it, you hear guys say I'm built different, but usually it's all talk. This guy, though, is really built different. He sees and plays the game like a linebacker at the running back position. Like Skateboo is incomparably tough, a tackle-breaking machine whose clutchness and physicality would make him an instant contributor to any NFL franchise.
With the 105th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Cam Skateboo.
Cam Skateboo. And yes, even though his name was called later than he probably deserved to hear it, Cam Skateboo had done the improbable and risen from FCS upstart to NFL running back.
It's been a long journey, a hard one, but people have doubted me my whole life, so it's just something I have to keep pushing at.
And yes, his new head coach was clearly a big fan of him.
He was a physical player first and foremost. When you watch the tape, hard guy to bring down when he has the ball in his hands. There's all different shapes, sizes of running backs, different speed, different quickness, tall, short. Can they make yards when they get the ball in their hand? However that sorts itself out, handing it to them, tossing it to them, throwing them a screen, and then how are his hands? Can you use them in the passing game?
As for his rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart, it's no surprise what moment stands out from Skateboo's career.
I mean, he's been elite out there. I knew coming into it, when you watch the Texas game, he caught a fade, against a really good safety against Texas. And he kind of was able to shield him off and catches that over his outside shoulder. So that was already super impressive from what I saw. And then there's like little clips that I also saw from him in high school, doing camps and whatnot. So we always knew that he had that, but it's been fun for everybody else to see it when he's out here.
Like even during training camp, Cam was saying all of the right things.
How many snaps of the NFL have you seen me play? 0, right? I've proved nothing. I've proved what I am in college, but I've proved nothing at this level. So now where I'm at, I have to prove myself. And if that's for 5 years or if that's for 10 years, I'm going to continue to prove myself. I'm the best, do it for the longest. So I'll continue to do that and just work my butt off until time comes.
That being said, though, not all Giants fans were impressed with their early glimpses of the running back.
Is exactly who we thought he is. He simply breaks tackles. That being said, his vision is kind of bad. There was 4 or 5 runs. And a couple of them ended up being like 10-yard runs where it's like, this is the wrong read. You're not pressing the hole as long enough. But he just breaks tackles, and that was the scouting report coming out of Arizona State. It's like, yeah, there's some red flags here, but the guy simply just breaks tackles, and that's what he does.
And now look, one-dimensional is about the last word that comes to mind when you think of Cam Skateboo. This guy is just a raw and hardcore football player. He's enjoyed a breakout in his second career game against Dallas and quickly assumed running back 1 duties after an injury to Tyrone Tracy. And now as the 7th running back selected in this past draft, he looks poised to be a top 3 rookie rookie from the 2025 class for a resurgent Giants offense, which will need to give Jackson Dart all the help he can get, especially without Malik Neighbors in the fold. But that's the thing. If one thing's for sure, Cam Skateboo has never let an opportunity pass him by, nor failed to rise to the occasion at any level. So I think it's safe to say, don't be surprised when he becomes a pivotal piece for the Giants going forward and rewrites history in the Big Apple.